Hello, my name is Xonevant. Today is Thursday, January the 9th, and this is your Daily Dose. Today we have a fan question in from Sly Medic, and he asked, can we get a video on your thoughts about the 13 Steam boxes? Alright, so if you are unaware, Valve has unveiled a whopping 13 Steam machines at CES 2014. Now let me go ahead and make this disclaimer before we get into this discussion. I am not a PC person. I don't know a lot about specs and pricing and chips and processors and all that good stuff. That's not me, okay? But I think that's what's going to make this discussion so important, is because I feel like the demographic that Valve is actually shooting for is a gamer like myself. Now, I do also want to talk about what I feel like is the bigger issue here. We're going to get into that at the end of this commentary. But before we do that, let's go ahead and just state the obvious facts first. So the first thing is there are way too many machines. You cannot expect to unveil 13 of anything this day and age and then expect there to be no confusion at the end of it. Not to mention the names of these machines are very confusing. They're very hard to remember. And from what I'm reading online, a majority of them are way overpriced, meaning you could build your own PC for less than the actual cost of some of these machines. Now, it also seems like Valve has no clue who their target demographic is. I thought this machine was supposed to be, like a direct competitor with the consoles, which means the demographic that they're trying to target is actually a gamer like myself. Now, the only thing that I want to know is the price, the value, meaning is it going to offer me a better experience than the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, and then when the sucker's getting released. You know what I mean? That's all I care about. Now, this is a very simple thing to accomplish, but it seems like they have went off in the complete opposite direction. They have released, like I said, way too many machines, weird names, and every time you see one of these machines in an article, you also see underneath all the specs, right? But if you're a gamer like me, specs don't mean much, right? I don't understand what half the stuff means anyway, so having those specs there does not impress me at all. I just want to know that whatever you're offering me will play the game that I want to play at the end of the day. It's the same reason why when I go to buy a car, right? I don't care about what's under the hood or, all the other specs of the car. I just want to know that when I buy the car, that it's going to work for the next, 10 plus years. Now, with all that said, I understand that for some consumers, having those specs is super important. There are still people who, when they go to buy a car, they have to know all the specs, what's under the hood, and all the features and all that kind of stuff. That's important. So there's two types of consumers here, right? So the question becomes, which consumer are they trying to market this machine to? And this leads me to what I feel like is the bigger issue here, is that this gaming industry is becoming too complicated. You know what I mean? Look, I've been here for the gaming scene. I've been here for 30 plus years. You know what I mean? I've been here since the beginning. I know, I've seen it all. You know what I mean? And there was a time where gaming was just simple. That's the way that it's always been. And I understand that people want to innovate. They want to be on the cutting edge of finding that new technology. Because at the end of that rainbow is a ton of cash. But if you confuse gamers in the process of trying to make that happen, there is no money in that. If they really wanted to sell this machine, right, why not just put out, in an ad, Steam OS or Steam machine, and then the slogan underneath just say something like, better than consoles. You see what I mean? Right there, I'm hooked. You see what I mean? If I'm the target demographic that you're shooting for, that slogan alone, I'm ready to buy your machine. But if I'm not the target audience here, then doesn't everybody else already have a PC? And don't they already game on a PC? That's what's confusing me about this whole process. If this Steam machine is truly a competitor for consoles, you have to market it for console gamers. And I'm not saying all console gamers don't understand specs, but I don't. You know what I mean? So, and maybe I'm in the minority here. Maybe there are mostly console players who understand, PC specs. But in my mind, if you understand, PC specs and the power that, PC can bring you in terms of gaming, wouldn't you already own a PC? And wouldn't you already be using Steam? So to come full circle with this thing, Sly Medic, honestly, man, I have no clue, man. I'm confused. Normally when I do these discussion type videos, I don't have the answer. And that's the reason why I do them, is because I want to hear what you guys have to say. You know, maybe I am in the minority here, right? Maybe this makes complete sense to everybody else on the planet but me. And I can accept that. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that. You know, not everybody is supposed to understand everything, but I feel like that I'm not in the minority. I feel like most people, even PC people, are a bit confused about this, because if they know the value of what they already have, right? If they already have a gaming rig, they're probably looking at some of these prices of some of these other machines and going, why would I even want to buy that? Why wouldn't I just keep what I already have? You know, and Griefsy93, shout out to him right quick. He gave me a link to Total Biscuit's video, and I know a little bit about Total Biscuit. I follow his channel a little bit here and there, and I know he knows a lot about PCs. And even in his video, he said, you know, he doesn't quite understand the value of some of these machines, right? He feels a lot like I do. He feels like they should be competing against the console makers and not going after the PC players, right? Because the PC players, they already get it. You know what I mean? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. You know, let's get this discussion started. I'll be around all day to kind of comment back and forth to you guys, and let's figure this thing out. Let's see what everybody's point of view is and come to a conclusion. All right, so that wraps it up for today's show. Make sure you check out yesterday's video, and today's YouTube spotlight is actually going to be Total Biscuit's video where he was talking about all the specs and the hardware for these Steam machines. If you're kind of clueless like I am to this whole thing in terms of the specs and stuff, make sure to watch his video. Very informative. And don't forget to check out our sub of the day. Links are on screen and in the description below, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And remember, if you even miss one dose, look, I'm a nice guy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fly you out to a nice tropical paradise, man. An island all to yourself. You're just gonna get, well, you won't necessarily be by yourself. I mean, there is the possibility that, you know, there can be people trying to hunt you down. I mean, that is a possibility. There could also be some weird like witchcraft voodoo stuff going on the island too. Yeah, that's a scenario that could happen. Oh, and you know, don't go into the water because there are some sharks. Yeah, they definitely some sharks that could possibly eat you. You know, that's a possibility. But you know, I mean, that stuff is highly unlikely to happen, right? I mean, what's the odds that I drop you off on an island that I pick and then people are hunting you down, and you know, sharks are trying to eat you in the water, and you know, there's some weird witchcraft. I mean, what's the odds? What do you think? These people are gonna grab you and hold you for ransom? I mean, come on.